to underscore date function. So this function we want to use, guys, here whenever you need to convert. Okay, now so to convert char or char type to Oracle default data type. So what is Oracle default format data? DD, MON, and YY. So in that format, your string or char, if you given here, it was convert to Oracle default data type. Okay, right. And what is the syntax for this here? The syntax is to underscore date of here you can send your string. Okay, right. And now can you see the some examples on this here? Okay, right. So come out and see this. Okay, and now come to see. So suppose I'm passing your select underscore to date, and you see this expression. You can give any type of expression and any format you can give, but finally it was returns. Okay, in which format it will be returns? Oracle default format. Okay, now so now for example, I'm giving like a 23. Okay, some dash year, or else we can say August. Okay, 2021. So this is what my string. This is what my string format I was given. And in this string, whatever I was given, that when it was returns to me, it will be returning in which format here? It is Oracle default format. So Oracle default format is what now? DD and first three characters of your month spelling and the last two digits of your year. Okay, na? So it was like, and even though if you want to send, like if you use a slash also, what it was happen, you can see it was returns in a Oracle format. So in any manner you can send it, but finally it was returns to us in Oracle default format. And now we can see if I'm going to use, for example, 10 days, I'm going to add. So whenever I added 10 days to my date expression, okay, sorry, to my string expression, even though 23 plus 10 days. So what it was come here? 2nd September 2021. The same as if you want to go for the minus 10 days, you can do, then it was showing here 13 August 20. So either you can add any number of days or any format you can give. Finally, it always be written Oracle format. Okay, now? Right down below. Okay. Now these are to underscore char and to underscore date. And the second one, what is your second type here? Multiple row functions. So these are all a single row. And can you identify this all functions will be returning us only single value? Can you find out here? Uh, See, this function single value returns. Previously upper functions, lower functions. Okay, now. So any function you can see all the functions. The functions will be written only one value if you identify that all functions one by one. Okay, so that is what single row functions. And the next one is what now? Next type here, multiple row functions. This is second type of functions. And multiple row functions, okay. These functions guys here. So even though we called as it is a grouping functions in Oracle, otherwise we can also called as aggregative functions, okay, na, in Oracle database. Okay, so these are either we called grouping or we called aggregate. Okay, and these functions are very simple, and I don't want to spend much time on this because it's very easy for you. Okay, these functions are like sum function, like we have your average function, like we have min function, max function. Okay, and we have your count function. So these functions are called as multiple row or grouping functions we called. Okay. And of course, every function is very simple and you can directly understand that. Okay. So that's why I'm not spending much time on here. So just a one by one definition you can write now. Sum function. So sum function we are using as here. This function returns, okay, total value. It returns total value. For example, suppose you need to find out the total salary of employee. Then how we can find out the total salary of employee? Select. Okay, then I have to use sum of salary. Sum of salary from EMP table. If I want to send it here, the what it was happen in my EMP table, how many number of employees we have here? That all employees salaries are going to be added. So now we can see here salary was there and these are all our individual salaries. But if I want to calculate the total salary of the employee, then this function you can use and execute. And this is 29,025. This is the total amount of your employees. Okay, na? Right. So like you can use. Otherwise, you wanted specific department people total salary you need to find out. Then you have to use what now? Where class. So where I can say the job is equals to what now? Manager. So now I'm executing now. Only managers total salaries are 8275. So it's your wish. Either all the people information you can calculate, otherwise a particular department people also you can calculate. Okay, right now. Next, in the same pattern, average. So average function is also same as, okay. So what you say, it returns, okay, the average of total value. So based on the total value, it will be finding average. And here I don't want to calculate now. So first I need to find out total salary by number of objects. Actually, that is your formula. But here I don't want to do like this. Directly, I'm going to apply this function automatically. Internally, what it is average here? Total by number of objects. Okay, but these two tasks automatically performed by your Oracle. So when I'm using this function, so total finding, number of rows are counting and doing some divisions, and finally whatever the average will come to me, that average value directly sending to us. Okay, na? Your user no need to count first total, later you have to count first number of rows and then do division, then finally come average. So this much process is not necessary to do it here. Okay, when we are using what now? Average function. Okay. So average is also same like this. If you come back to examples, same as so you can go to write like so select and send your average of salary and from EMP table. So now EMP table, okay, what is the average salary of this table information means? You just go to execute now. So on each and every employee, the minimum average amount is 2073. Okay, 0.21429. So this is average amount we are spending on each employee in my company. Okay, na? That is called a average amount. The next one we called as here min. So min we called as guys here, it returns, okay. So minimum value. It returns minimum value. Suppose you need to find out minimum salary. So you can use min function of salary from EMP. Suppose you need to find out minimum salary, okay, in particular department if you need to find out. So then you can use where DEPT number is equals to some 20 or something. And even though I can find out my minimum hire date. So what is my minimum hire date in the table? So that is also I can find out now. Okay. And next one. Same as come to max function. It returns maximum value. Maximum value. And to find your maximum salary of employees, then you can use max function. Okay, right. And in this five functions, okay, min, max, average, and sum, it's very easy and directly we can apply. But when come to count function, here somewhat important for you because this count function, the people can use in three different ways. One is count of star is a one type we can use. Second one is count of column name. And the third one is called as your count of distinct keyword. Can you remember distinct keyword we discussed? What is that? Duplicates are eliminated. It doesn't counting your duplicate values. It should eliminate here. Okay. So along with my count function, I can use a star, I can use a column name, I can use a distinct column name. But what is the differences of these three things? Okay, now let me come out and see one sample table I'm going to design in our database now. So I'm going to design one sample table. Okay, let's come out. So I'm creating one sample table like a serial numbers, okay, and a name. That's it. Serial number, and I'm giving here name. And now what it was happen after that, I'm going to input some values into this, sending values of suppose 1 comma a, and next one we called as here 2 comma b. Next we called as here suppose 3 comma c, and now you can go for 4 comma null, and now I want to go for 5 comma a, and next we go for 6 comma c. So this is my data, and I just commit this data to permanently save purpose, and later you can come back and see your test table. In test table, total number of rows are 6. Okay, that's okay. But how it was showing 6 rows means here each and every row is going to be counted. It may be in my rows or in my table, there are 2 duplicates are there, A and AC and AC. These are repetition of values in this column. And the same as you have here, one null is also there, empty. So it means in this table, I have a 2 duplicates values are there and 1 null. So including duplicates and nulls, total number of rows, how many are showing? 6. Okay, na? So now this is actually my table. Suppose on this table, if I'm using the function name is what now? Count of star. Select count of star from test table. If I'm using now, count of star, what it will do, it counting each and every row in the table, including duplicates and nulls. So how many duplicates are there? How many nulls are there? That each and everything will be count here. So now that's why it was showing how much here? 6. Okay. But the same as in place of star, if I'm giving some name, and here I was given what now? Serial number, and that particular column data only counting. But in that particular column, can you find out here? Do you have any duplicate values? No. Do you have any null values? No. So there is no duplicates, there is no nulls. It means that total values will be count, and it was showing 6 again. Understand na? But here the differences of star and serial number, there is no difference, sir. The both are showing same output. So now when we know the differences of star and column name, when we want to take the column, in which column we have a duplicates, in which column we have a duplicates and nulls, that column should take it now. So now I'm going to taking that column. What is that column? Name. Okay, now, and now we can go to execute now. See how much it was showing? 5. That means which is counting, which is not counting. A null is not counting, but duplicates are counting. That is count of column name. Next, suppose on this column, if I was applied a distinct keyword, what it will do? Duplicates are not counted. So now duplicates are not counted. So finally, how much here? 3. So star, column name, distinct column. Star means all are counting. Duplicates plus nulls. Column name means only duplicates but not nulls. Distinct means no duplicates, no nulls. Only unique values. Okay, na? This difference is observed. Okay, right down below. So this is one of my demo table you can take. So keep it the demo table. And now I can go for to count of star. What do you say here? Counting all values, including duplicates and nulls. Okay, then you have to take the example of this. Select count of star from test table. So what is your output for this query? Is showing output is 6. Next one. Count of column name. So if I'm using this function, what it will do now, it was counting. It was counting duplicate values, but not nulls. Duplicate values, but not nulls. So if I was given name, it show as 5. And next one, count of distinct and column name. So this is what it will do, counting unique values. Unique means same values or different values are different values are. So counting unique values only. Okay, so what you say that means no duplicates, and no nulls. Only unique will count. And now I'm going to using here distinct and column name is name. And my output here comes 3. Okay, completed. So these are what now predefined functions in our SQL. And almost every function we covered in this except analytical functions. And analytical functions we will see in our subqueries. In subqueries, those functions I will explain to you why we want to use analytical functions. Okay, now? And like we have all the functions, okay, which was comes under predefined category, that all functions are be covered in this part. Okay, na? So numerics, string, date, null, conversion, and this is we left here. That was checking in subqueries. And the second type is what now? Multiple row functions also we finished. Okay, and these functions are very oftenly the people are using in SQL language you can use as well as in a PLSQL also. Okay, right. So now here come out. Okay, but sir, yeah, so many people, so many days, from so many days, they're asking. Now you can see. Okay, suppose are you log in with your user account? Suppose I'm going to log in now. So MyDB 6 p.m. and MyDB 6 p.m. After login with your account, okay. Suppose if I want to display any particular table, so which query we are writing? We are writing select a star from, for example, DEPT. And now you can see DEPT table is very small table and having just 3 columns of structure and few records, it was there. So when my table is small, very small table and having the small amount of data, then directly the table will display in a proper systematical order. Okay, na? It was proper systematically displayed. So here I don't have any what we called requirements to set some properties or set some environment settings. This kind of need and necessity is not required for this. Okay, but where it was required means in case if some more tables are there and those tables are very big tables and we are storing huge amount of data and the table is also very big structure like 10 columns 100 columns we have here. So whenever you need to display suppose a large scale table data in my SQL plus environment, so what it was happened directly can say. So the type of table, one of my table is EMP. If I executed this EMP to display my data, now you can see my table data is going to be splitting. Now you can see how it was splitting here. Do you have any format? No. I return my query select a star from EMP. And see, these are the table heading, that means column headings. The column headings are certain level, it will go to reach certain point here. What happened? Your structure will split it. That means your next column will go to next line. Understand na? So that means there is a no proper systematical order. And one more thing is what now see my rows also certain distance is covered, then remaining characters will display into next line. Can you see? Yes. Like this, see number of times my column headings are repeated. Aerox again repeated, again splitting, 3 rows are displayed, again headings, again splitting, 3 rows are displayed, again headings, again displayed. So like this, what happened? My table data is splitting into number of parts. It's divided like this. And this is not the proper systematical order. Okay, na? So your table structure will be splitting and also data also splitted. Okay, na? Now, so when this kind of situation is come to you, I think so many people face this. Yes or no? When it was come to you, then there is some properties we need to add or you need to set. That which kind of properties we need to set. Okay, na? Right down below. Take the point here after this. So take note point. Take note. Write down. To display the large scale data tables in proper systematical or systematically in SQL plus environment then we should set the following two properties. The following two properties are first property is called as a page size n. First property is called as a page size n. Okay, now you can see what is page size and what is here n. Okay, observe. So now here, okay, can you identify now certain, okay, certain data is displayed, certain space is occupied, then your table rows are splitting. Suppose this is some 3 or 4 or 6 or 7 lines are displayed. After that, it will be splitted, again divided, again divided. So why it was happening like this? It means that by default in your SQL Plus environment, by default, whatever the page, this is called a white screen. Whatever the white screen, that's called as a page. So this page maximum displayed by default 14 rows. In one single page, it displayed only 14 rows. Okay, na? So that is actually default nature. For example, your table is having 100 rows are there in your table. For example, okay, na? 100 rows. And as per the default in SQL Plus, one page is equals to 14 rows. It means that your table is having more than 14 rows. Suppose my table is have how many rows? 100 rows. Then this 100 rows, if my page size environment is not set by programmer or user, what it was happen by default, each page will display 14 rows only. That means 1 to 14 rows displayed into page 1. Next, 15. 15th row to how much? 20? 28? 28 rows are displayed into second page. Again 29 to, that means 34, 30, 33, 43, 14, 14, 42, okay, 42. So 42, that means 29 to 42 will display under third page. So like this, how many rows I need to print? 100 rows. It means approximately it will take 7.5 pages. 7.5 means 8 pages. So that means your 100 rows of data, your Oracle, that means your Oracle database server will be displayed with in how many pages? 8 pages. How many pages? 8 pages. Okay, now 8 pages it will be need to display 100 rows. When your setting is by default 14 rows. But sir, why should I want to display my 100 rows in 8 pages? Instead of that, these 100 rows data I want to print or display in one page. Understand na? In that cases, you need to set what now? Page size property. And your n is nothing but a number of rows. In a page, how many number of rows you need to display? Suppose here my n is equals to, if I'm giving 50, then my page will display how many rows? 50 rows. If I'm giving 500, 500 rows. If I'm giving 5,000, 5,000 rows. If I'm giving 50,000, 50,000 rows are displayed. Understand na? That is page size property use and purpose. Right down below. Page size. By default, a page can display 14 rows only. By default, a page can display 14 rows. Okay, full stop. Next, if we want to change the size of a page, the size of a page, then we use a property is called as, then we use a property is called as, what is this? Page size. Okay. Now next one, page size property. Page size property is used to display number of rows in a page. To display number of rows in a page. Here, n is nothing but, or n is represent number of rows. Okay. So the maximum size of page size property is 50,000 rows. 50,000 rows. Okay. So what is the syntax for this? How to set? The syntax is set page size of n. Set page size of n. Okay. Now we can see. This is my table present. It was there like this. And now I can go for this. Okay. Now I need to set. What is this? Page size. Suppose I can give 100. It is accepting to me. I can give 500 accepting to me. 5,000 accepting to me. 50,000 accepting to me. 50,001. If you try to set your size, showing error. What is error? Page size option 50,001 is out of the range. Either your page size either 0, otherwise 50,000. More than that, you cannot. Okay, na? So this is maximum size of a page size. So example, write down. Set page size is equals to, suppose, 100. Okay, right. Second property was there. That is called as what now? Lines property. This lines property, what it will do? Observe. This lines property, what it will do? Okay, careful observe. Here, can you see this? Your row data. These are called as a row data. But your row information, if it was displayed up to certain place or certain distance, immediately your row data will go to in the next line. Okay. Why, sir, it was going to be next line? My data means here observe. In your SQL Plus environment, your each line, whatever it was there in the page, each line contains maximum 80 characters. It will be printing how many characters? 80 characters. There is a default. So 80 characters will be printing on this line. On this line, how many characters printed? 80 characters are printed. That is a default actually. The default size. So now, suppose you can see your row data is having 100 characters. Your row data is having 100 characters. So these 100 characters of raw data, if I want to display, okay, then what it was happened by default, how many characters in each line? 80 characters. That means the remaining how many characters left? 20. Those 20 characters will display into second line. So it means that if you have in your table 100 rows and each row is having 100 characters of data. That means these 100 rows, if I want to display in my SQL Plus environment, so one row will occupy how many lines? 2 lines. That means 100 rows into 2 lines is equals to 200 lines it displayed. In how many lines displayed? 200 lines. Your row data or row information will displayed into 200 lines. Okay, now this is what the default. So now what I want to do, why should I want to display a row information in 2 lines? Instead of in 2 lines, I want to display a row data in one single line. So then what I want to do, one single line means my size of the line, how much default? 80. Now I increased 100. The line's size is increased how much here? 100. 100 characters I'm increasing capacity. That means what happened? Here first row data displayed, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row, like that. That means 100 rows, 100 lines. Understand now? 100 rows, 100 lines. There is not necessary 200. And even though my row data will not split. Splitting means divide. It's not going to do that because in one line your entire row will be displayed. So that kind of process you want it, and you don't want to split your row information. So there you have to set what now? Lines property. Okay, now? And your n is nothing but number of characters. How many characters you need to print in one single line. Got it? Huh? Right down below. By default, each line contains 80 characters. Each line contains 80 characters. Okay, right. If we want to change the length of a line in SQL Plus, then we use a property is called as what is that property? Lines. Okay, right. Lines property is used to display number of characters in a single line, to display the number of characters in a single line. Okay, right. Next one. Here n is represent number of characters. Okay. So come out and see the syntax of this. So what is the syntax here? Set lines n. Now we can set like set lines some 160 or something. Okay, right. So now come out and see to set this property now. So now set lines 100 accepting to me, lines 1000 accepting to me, lines 30,000 it is also accepting to me, like lines 32,767 accepted to me, 768. What happened? You can see it is out of the range. So the line size option 32,768 is out of the range. Your line, either you can have a one character can print a maximum 32,767 characters you can print into one single line. Okay, na? So minimum one character, maximum 32,767. Okay, but more than that characters you cannot. Right down below. Okay, na? Right. So now here I want to write that point here, add it. The maximum characters, add this to the line. The maximum characters per a line is how much? 32,767 characters. Okay, fine. Okay, na? So now these two, how I can set it? Now you got some idea now? So now finally, I can go to set this. So set page size, I was given 100, set lines 160 something. And after that, you will call your EMP table. Now see, your big table is displayed in particular systematical order. Yes. So now perfectly your columns are there, rows are there. There is no any splitting of my table structure. There is no splitting of my table data. It's not happened. It was proper and systematically displayed. But here one thing should be remembered. Suppose are you exit from this Oracle? Are you exit from this Oracle? Okay, na? And again, you just go to open. And now you can log in MyDB 6 p.m. and 6 p.m. After login, now you can go to write your query, select a star from EMP. Then what it was happen, you can see. Again, your data not in proper. Again, it is a splitted. Yes or no? So that means again what we want to do? Set page size 100, set lines 160 or something as your wish. Now I can go to execute now. Yes, again I got it. If I'm going to exit to open this again just connect with your user account, MyDB 6 p.m. Again, you just call that again splitting. So it means what you understand? These properties are not a permanent. These are temporary settings. Why, sir? Why? Because like this means that every login will treat as a new session. Is it correct? Huh? Every login will treat as it is a one new session. If it is a new session, it will give your default environment. That means your environment will be again refresh. It's a new session, again, new environment. New environment is what the default environment will give to you. So that's why what the user has to do for every login time, you must and should be set this to properties. And suppose if anybody asks you, sir, is there any technique was there I can fix these properties permanently? Means never. You don't have it like that. Okay, once you log out, means your session close. Again, you log in, it means default environment will give to you. Default environment is what now? A page is displayed 14 rows, a line is displayed 80 characters. Okay, na? So that's why these two properties permanently you can't set. It's every time, every login is called as a new session. You have to go and set these two properties every time, whenever you log in. But once you log in and in the session, you can work hours and hours. It doesn't happen to you anything. Okay. But once you log out, again, you have to set. Is it clear, all of you now? So these are the two properties, guys. And up to here, so your functions are completed along with this. Okay, now? Right. And one more new topic we will discuss, but not today. We will go for tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow we'll go for one more new topic in our SQL. Okay, now? Okay, right, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.